Hey, Tobes. Hey, it's Alpita, and welcome to Feng Shui Friday. And look at my little Tobesy right there. I just love my cat. He just turned 2 this week. I know, my special little boy. All right, I don't know why I have this pinned comment, but unpin comment, delete comment. So, Feng Shui Friday. So I'm actually going to talk about the feng shui first, and then we'll talk about the full moon and the blue moon and all the magical, yummy things that are happening this month. Okay, so let's do that first. So this week we are looking at the health and well-being area, and health and well-being is the center. Okay, so it's the center of the property, like literally smack dab the center of the house. If you've got one of those houses where like the stairways in the center, like, that can be challenging to do something there, but you want to really like make sure that clutter is not happening there. And also, like, obviously in a bedroom, it's for me, it's my light. Okay, my bed's part of the center, and normally I have this crystal there, and we'll talk about that in a second. But as with anything in feng shui, we first want to observe what is going on there. So for me in my room, I've got this dusty crystal that I took down that I'm going to wash. Um, my bed's in the center. I'm very mindful of not having anything underneath my bed, but I do have cats, so occasionally things end up underneath there. Like, I dropped something the other night, bent over to get it, and there was a flashlight under my bed. Don't know how how it got there, right? It probably was on my nightstand, and then it got knocked over, and cat stole it or whatever, right? So you really want to meet, especially if you have health challenges, especially if you have weight, right? Like the muffin top or the fupa or whatever you want to call it. Being mindful of what is going on in the center of your bedroom and then in the center of your home and the center of your property is really, really important, right? You want to look at things like broken things, right? Broken things in feng shui are very, very not auspicious, okay? Very bad. No good, horrible, bad. So you either want to fix them or you want to throw them away or donate them. Sometimes if something, I feel like something can be fixed, but I just don't have the bandwidth to do it, or like it would cost me more time, energy, and money, I might send it to like the Goodwill or something, because there's people that are handy out there and can fix them. And I really hate throwing things away. But if I can't fix it, then I'll recycle it or something like that, right? So that's step one, declutter, right? Make sure if it's broken, you fix it or you get rid of it, okay? Exposed wires are very, like, that. The wires in feng shui are a representation, a reflection of the nervous system. So you really want to be mindful in every area of your home that you do not have, and I don't mean exposed wires like they're hanging out of the wall, although that's really bad, but I'm talking about like seeing wires everywhere, right? Like, you want to really, like, tuck them behind your curtain, tuck them behind furniture, those sorts of things, right? Like, I have a power strip right next to my printer, and it's like tucked in there, and I've pushed the printer against it. The reason it's there is because sometimes the TV's there, and I've got a thermal printer for labels. I've got a scale. So things sometimes need to be unplugged and plugged back in because they don't work, or because, there's a lot of things that need to be plugged in that spot. But it's tucked in the corner so that you can't see it, right? Like, I know it's there because I put it there, right? So you really want to be mindful of wires, anywhere in your home, right? If you're charging your phone, having those wires tucked behind something, right? Safely, of course. We don't want to tuck it behind fabric or anything like that, but just be mindful. So wires are really important. Broken things, like I already mentioned, broken glass, broken appliances, broken anything, right, is just not good. Trash, of course, right? Like, I have a little trash can in here. I am very mindful to empty it as often as I can. I also take this trash can out into the kitchen when I'm sewing, and I always empty it at the end of the night because it's got, threads and scraps and things like that that I don't want my cats getting into. And actually, I was just like, why don't I have another one for my sewing area when they're like literally 96 cents or 98 cents at Walmart, right? It's just a small plastic, um, little trash can, right? That you would put in a bathroom or something like that. We actually have one in every single room because they're freaking $1. And that way, trash doesn't end up on the floor, but being mindful to empty it. So this is where like having a routine or an alarm, or every time you pass by it and you're like, oh, it's full, let me empty it. Okay. So having some sort of like a schedule routine or some kind of sort of system that you're going to make sure to empty it, because that's great that you have a trash can in your bedroom, but if it's constantly overflowing, that's not good feng shui, or that's not really, optimal for any area of your life, right? So the other thing we want to look at in the fame and reputation is just to keep it clean. Like I just got up there to get this crystal down and I'm like, okay, I don't remember the last time I washed it. So with some feng shui things, um, like anything that's got a red ribbon, certain things like red envelopes and things like that, those get taken down and taken apart and burned yearly, or when they're starting to look raggedy. Something like this crystal, it just needs to be washed because it's gross, okay? So it does not need to be replaced, but when I do wash it and put it back up there, I'm going to do my 3 secret reinforcements ritual, okay? And that's always available for $9, PDF and video included if you would like that. It just increases the speed and the efficiency of your placement 130%. And trust me, I've done it with and without, and it makes a huge freaking difference, okay? So declutter, get rid of broken things, exposed wires, clean that area. I'm actually, before I put that out, I'm going to just wipe down the outside of the light fixture. Cobwebs is another thing. And it doesn't matter if it's in your health and well-being area, but just around your house. And I'm not really diligent about that, right? Like, every so often I'll do it, I'll notice it and I'll do it, but having some sort of like system for you to remember to do that is important. All the windows in your home, those are about clarity. Like how clear are you seeing the world around you, right? How accurate is your vision, is your perception, right? Your interpretation. And it doesn't matter if they're in the health and well-being area. It does reflect whatever area that is. So like that window is partially in prosperity and mostly in fame and reputation. So being mindful to take the curtain down and wash the window. And I just use paper towels. Or actually, what's really better than paper towels is coffee filters. And also, and rubbing alcohol, like 50/50 water rubbing alcohol in a spray bottle. You get a spray bottle at the dollar store, right? And we have a lot of these yogurt containers because my youngest like eats 4 of these a week with some chocolate chips. But I saw this hack, not the container hack. My mom was a container, like she would we had, after she died, and I was like, like decluttering some stuff. I cannot even tell you how many Shed's Bread Country Crock containers I threw out from this one counter cabinet that was, like that L shape underneath the stove. And yeah, I had to literally crawl in there and there was garbage bags full. But anyway, I don't collect these anymore. If I need one, I will keep one. And yeah, I used to collect them all the time. But they are great. Today I went and got groceries and I could have used some. So they're just, as I drop the container, they're coffee filters, and you just dump rubbing alcohol in there, and they are like the best wipes, and they're like super cheap. A pack of 200 are $2, and then a bottle of rubbing alcohol is, what is it, a 16 ounce? I think it's 16 ounce. I could be wrong on that. Is like $4. So for $8, for $6, you can make a ton of freaking wipes. And I'm going to wipe my hands now because, I don't know. It just felt like wiping my hands. Hold on, let me get the container. Ah! Okay. So, I also have one of these in the car. And it's great for like when we go to the park, we go to the beach. I'm grocery shopping and something gross or whatever. The other thing you could do with these yogurt containers, not that this, you could like cut a hole and make it like for tissues, right? For like in the car and stuff, or put a roll of toilet paper in here. I'm going to do that because I have a roll of toilet paper in the car and it needs a container. So next yogurt container, I'm going to save it. And I like the ones with the clear lid because I can see what the frick is in there. Anyway, that's not what this is about, but I love to share tips when I have tips. Speaking of which, keeping things clean is really important. And your house doesn't have to be spotless. Your house doesn't have to be like no clutter. Like I have clutter. We all do. Like I've mentioned this before. Like right now I'm deep into sewing a whole bunch of things in that part of my business. And so my kitchen table constantly has piles of stuff, right? And to someone else that looks like clutter, but to me it's like, okay, that's this one client. This is the Mad Hatter hat I'm making. This is stuff for more tarot bags. This is I'm also getting rid of some of my fabric. So like if there's like a odd little piece at the end, I just cut it off and keep it because I like to sell the fabric like in this nice square piece or rectangular piece. So I have another pile of those, right? So there's piles, but it's like there is a method to the madness, right? So your home doesn't have to be like 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 a museum or Better Homes and Garden, but you want to notice the clutter, the things that are you're tripping over, the things that are like constantly like, oh my god, I just really need to deal with that, right? And find out what works for you. Like for me, sometimes I just have to say it in the morning, and I'd be like, oh, I'm doing this today, and then usually by the end of the day, I will do it, or I'll be like, oh, by the end of the week, I need to do this, right? So like even today, like going to the grocery store, and I had a whole bunch of packages to mail out, so I was like, I might as well go to the grocery store, I might as well go to the bank, I needed to do a few things, and it was just like I have to talk myself into it sometimes. Okay. um okay, so health and well-being, the other thing you want, so a lot of times the health and well-being, because it's the center, is usually it's an open space. Okay, so there's not a lot you can do, but these crystals are great. You can just buy this one at the bottom. Do not use a red string. I don't want to see this like hanging from your ceiling fan with a bright red string. It just looks weird unless it's part of your decor and red is your color. Like I like this because it's got the colors of the chakras. If you'd like me to make one of these, I will. Just let me know. And it's on a wire. It's actually got a little loop. I think you can, hold on, you can see it right there. It's got a little loop, and I just hang it on one of the screws from the light fixture. Right there. Right there. Okay. And taking it down. So like I think what my new kind of rule or algorithm, right? The way that we do things really is our own personal algorithm. Our routines are our algorithm, right? Kind of helps to think of it that way, right? Our to-do lists are our algorithm. Anyway, is going to be every time that I take down the curtains and wash the window, which is once a month, I will do the cobwebs and wash that. And literally just soap and water under the sink, no big deal. If you'd like one of those, I can make one, and I also have a whole bunch of the bigger ones. So this would be great in like a living room, dining room, something like that. In a bedroom, I like the smaller one. Personal preference, you can do whatever you want. We have a ceiling fan in the living room, and I used to have one of these hanging from there, and it doesn't bother me because I'm short and I just duck around it. My mom had wind chimes in our kitchen, and this is where like every culture has something like feng shui. They don't Feng shui is like the one that most people know, but every culture has what's called geomancy, right? So navigating or orientating your life around your environment, right? So my mom did not know anything about feng shui. However, she did practice feng shui or geomancy. Our kitchen had three doorways. There was one coming from the hallway that went to the front door in the living room and the upstairs. There was another doorway that went to the dining room. And then there was another doorway that went to the laundry room and the back porch and outside, right? And my mother had wind chimes in all three of those. And interesting enough, one of them, the one going to the front door, had one of those. I don't know if you've ever seen the wind chimes that have like the little pagoda roofs with the little bells. And she had like a keychain, bought a keychain that had her name. Her name was Helen on it. And she hung that from there. And basically the point was that like when she was at the kitchen sink, right, prepping and cooking and all that stuff, she could not see behind her, right? Her back was to the doors, all three of the doors. And so I think that intuitively she put those there to be alerted, even though my stepfather and I would always just go around them because, we knew they were there, right? But that's a form of geomancy, right? Like, that is not a power position. And I don't know why they set up kitchens that way. I mean, I know they want them on the wall, but like when you are like if you're in a restaurant, you want to be able to see the door, right? When you're in an office, the corner office is the corner office because it's the power position. You can see out into the world. That's why the CEO faces the door, and then they create these little cubicles where everybody's back is to the open space, and that doesn't feel safe and creates anxiety. They really need a feng shui consultant because that does not make people feel safe. So being mindful of that. The reason I sit here as my desk, because this is my desk in front of me, and I make jewelry here and I do client sessions, is because I can see the door. The door is right there. Okay, I'm not worried about the window. Nobody's climbing in that window. That is like about 6 feet height, and nobody's shimming up here. Okay, and I'll hear them. I'll know, right? So you really want to be mindful of that. Okay, so that's part of health and well-being as well, like being in that power position. Sometimes people will put their couch and have that the back to the door, and I get it. That's how living rooms are set up, but that is not really a safe. That doesn't make you feel safe and allow you to relax. So if you do have to have that kind of sort of setup, putting a mirror somewhere so you could see the front door is a cure. So that is something that we call a cure, right? It is fixing the fact that you cannot see the front door. So if I wanted to, I could put a mirror right there so I could see the window. If that was a door, I could do that. I could put a mirror there so I could see the second door, right? But obviously it's not, so I'm not concerned about it, right? What else for health and well-being? Declutter, broken items, clean, being mindful of wires, being mindful of the command position or power position. Like I said, this area is mostly about decluttering. However, you can create your own placement. So for me, like obviously one of the things that I'm working on in my health is losing weight. Okay, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I want to lose some weight. Okay, like, but it's not just diet and exercise because obviously I actually don't eat enough. That's part of the problem. I know I don't move enough, but I don't eat enough. So I could do some sort of a placement. Like, actually, I can put the crystal back up and use that as in like maybe like it's clear and easy. Ooh, hold on a second. My laptop is telling me it needs to be charged because my son was using it and did not plug it in. All right. So I could use my crystal. And again, a lot of times when a crystal, when crystals, wind chimes, I also use like skeleton keys too. Um, and mirrors are what are called the aspirin of feng shui. So they're transcendental cures. So a transcendental cure is a mystical cure, right? It's not like, oh, I want a new relationship, so I put a painting of a beautiful couple, right? Like one of my favorites is The Butler and the Maid, I think it's called. I'm sure you've seen it. It's a woman in a red dress and the man dancing in the rain, and the butler's holding the umbrella. Sometimes it's in 3 pieces, but like that's a beautiful piece to put in your relationship corner, which we will be talking about relationship next week if that's something that you're interested in manifesting, whether it is for business like a partnership or you want a romantic relationship. But that is an example of a placement, but it's kind of like it makes sense, right? Where a crystal, a wind chime, a mirror, mirrors usually are for like seeing things that like the power position, right? So if I wanted to see the window, but it's also for like deflecting energy, like negative energy. And there's like concave and convex mirrors. It's a whole thing, and it's nothing you need to know about unless you actually need it, and then you need a feng shui practitioner to like actually tell you what you need to do and how to place it and what the ritual is. But and I also like skeleton keys because that's the thing that I bring into feng shui, is one of the things I do differently in feng shui, because skeleton keys are like, I think they're like the coolest thing. I've made some jewelry from them. I have a whole bunch of them, and I use them to unlock things, which is really good for this Scorpio full moon. Okay, Scorpio is like the deep desires, the things hidden under the surface. And it's not even under the surface, it's the depths. So these are things that are coming. This Scorpio full moon is bringing secrets up from the depths. It's people revealing their feelings to you. It's things coming to light. It's you finally getting clarity on things and being like, okay, don't want to do that. I want to do this. So one thing that like actually unlocked for me this week was like, I always focus on, so one of the challenges that I've had in my life is around money, right? Like I used to be really good at manifesting money. I'd be like, oh, I need $200 today. And like something would happen, like some random check in the mail, a client would reach out, something would sell. And then it just seems that like when I'm in relationship, like when I'm in a relationship, it's hit or miss. Okay. And I know that's a psychological thing and there's trauma there and whatever that I need to work on. But I would always focus on like, how is that going to happen? I need this amount of money for this bill. And I would always like, my brain would go into the how, because that's what we've trained our brain to do. And what's unlocked with, for me, in the Scorpio full moon, and for me, Scorpio is in the 8th house. So this is about like releasing control, like surrendering, and which is a hard thing for me to do with OCD, with being a single mom, with having like all this trauma around money and relationships and all that stuff. Letting go of control is really challenging. But what came up for me was like, Alpita, you do not have to figure out the how. You know this. You know that when you try to micromanage the universe, okay, I'm quoting a little bit of Mike Dooley here, shouting that out there. It sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it's a lot harder than it needs to be. But when I just focus on the amount of money that I need, and then I allow aligned action to come into play, the money comes. Okay, and that happened to me on Wednesday, right? Um, I actually made more money than I needed on Wednesday, right? So it's like, okay, I need to stop focusing on the how. I need to stop like trying to manifest huge amount of money, and it's like, how can I chunk it down and be like, okay, if I manifest this amount of money every single day, I'll have more than enough. Okay. And then the other thing that I was thinking, and this is something that I've been sharing with a client, I was just like, oh, when I first started manifesting, it was parking spots. It was Lori Cabot, The Power of the Witch. And it was just, I would put my intention out there to have like a closed parking spot. And now, like, I literally went to the grocery store and like there were 2 spots right in front of the door. Like, I'm literally in my car, like looking at the door of Aldi. Okay. Staples, it wasn't that close, but it was still like third, I think, from the curb, or like whatever, the parking curb, right? Like not the store curb. And then the post office, well, I have a handicap parking sticker, so the post office, I was literally running in to drop a package in the drop bin inside, so I just parked in the handicap spot. I actually left my engine on, just ran in, dropped it in, and came back out. So it's like, but that has come over years, okay? And this is where like people are like, oh, does manifestation come first? Does premonition come first? I actually recently saw this on Facebook, and I was like, this is a conversation I've had with many people. And it's like, okay, you had an intention, your manifestation, and the premonition was the how, was the GPS. Your intuition is your GPS, but you have to put in a destination. That's your intention. How much money do you want to create? Okay. So, natural segue into this energy of this month. So May is really, really special. Okay. That's why I titled this Once in a Blue Moon, because we have a blue moon this month. And if you don't know what a blue moon is, it's the second month, the second moon in a month is called a blue moon. That happens about every 2.5 years. Okay. And obviously today is the first. We have our Scorpio full moon, and then we have another full moon, and I'm not sure what sign it's in. It's irrelevant at this point in time because it doesn't matter right now. On the 31st. Okay. So this is what it means for us. And people are saying this is an amazing manifestation portal, and it can be if you align with it. So what it means is that by looking at what house Scorpio is in your birth chart, and you can go on and just put in free astrological chart, or you can have a session with me. Actually, I have a blue moon manifestation special where we're going to look at that. Where's Scorpio in your birth chart, right? We're also going to look at your human design. For me, astrology is the who and the what. Human design is the how and the what, why. Okay, it just, that's the way that my brain understands it, and it really, really works well together. So we'll be looking at that. We'll be doing some clearing in this session. It could be Akashic field healing, it could be cord removals, it could be crystal chakra clearing, it could be evil eye removal, it could be a whole bunch of things. It could be a past life regression. Past life regressions are really great for releasing like some sort of pattern that you don't know where it came from. Like you do not know why you do the thing you do, and you've like racked your brain. Usually it's from a past life, and a past life or it's ancestral, and a past life regression will help shift that pattern for you. So it's a 90-minute session. First, we're going to start with human design and astrology to see where that Scorpio, the Scorpio energy of this full moon is hitting. What are you going to be releasing in the next 14 days till the new moon? Because it does, like right now is the peak, but there'll be dominoes, right? This is the biggest domino being knocked out today, and then there's going to be more dominoes that are going to ripple out, right? So we're going to look at that, and then we're going to look at what are the intentions you need to set for the new moon. So the reason that came to me, like my brain connected the dots, was because I was talking about weight loss. So this is where like I could right now place a key, like a skeleton key up there, and be like, I want to unlock the secret to why I'm overweight, and also what is my magical formula? What is my algorithm for losing weight? And I know in the past it's been a water fast for 3 days. It's been dancing, okay, lots of dancing, and then also eating more because like I said, I don't eat enough. So I know that's part of the formula, but because I am menopausal and I've had babies and I've had C-sections, it might be a little different. So this is where I'm talking about, like, I love using skeleton keys as a transcendental cure because one, I have them in my house, they're part of my decor, and two, I just love them. They are very symbolic. They are one of the symbols of Hecate. If you follow Hecate, she is the goddess. She's a Greek goddess before the Titans, right? And she is the keeper of the keys. So keys are very sacred to her. So you can add something like that to it. So if you want to do it in your health and well-being, and you're like, oh, I want to have better habits, I want to take better care of myself, this is where placing a key there and being like, help me unlock true self-care, true self-love, right? You know, depending upon what you're wanting to create. So I want to unlock weight loss. Okay. So when I put this crystal back up there, I'm going to add a skeleton key to it. Okay. Now going back to this whole full moon and new moon cycle. So for the next 14 days, we are going to be letting go of things, right? Based upon where Scorpio is in our astrological birth chart, right? Then comes the new moon. So now that we've let go of stuff, and things will manifest as you let go. Kind of think of it as like, okay, I'm throwing away this pair of shoes and I'm buying a new pair of shoes, which is like a really great example because, like, unless you have multiple pairs of shoes, which most people do, right? But anyway, it's like letting go of the old to make space for the new. Okay. And then I think it's the 14th or 15th, we have the new moon. And that's when we're going to be setting intentions as to what we want to call in. So we've made space. We're making space these 14 days. And then what do we want to call in? So it's like letting go of the shoulds, letting go of control. Like, it depends. Everybody's different. You have to go look at your astrological birth chart, okay? And then after you set your intentions, that blue moon at the end of the month, May 31st, you will start to see solid evidence by then that things have moved forward. So what I highly recommend is that in this month, you focus on something that really feels like so out of your reach. Okay, something that, one, it could be something that you felt stuck and haven't, like, I don't know how to do this. Like, I don't know what the method to my madness is, all right? Or the madness to my method is, or whatever, right? Or an area where it feels like you're constantly going towards that dream and it just feels like that dream keeps moving further away, right? Like the dangling carrot, right? Um it could be something like really big that you feel like you don't know how you're going to manifest it. So if I were to pick something, I mean, there's a lot of things I could pick, but one would be my dream home, right? Like that would be something where it's like, okay, right now with my current income and my current financial situation, buying a house by the end of the month. And it doesn't mean that you're going to buy the house by the end of the month. It means that things will be moving in, resources, the people, places, things that you need will start lining up, and you'll start seeing the path like open up for you, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean that if you say you want to manifest a house, but you've got zero money for down payment and your credit sucks, that you'll be able to buy a house at the end of the month. It just means that you will make massive progress from now till the end of the month, right? The other thing I could look at is a partner, because I would really like a new love mate, as I call it. That's my how I call my partner. That's like the soulmate, but it's, my love partner, right? That's another thing. So that probably is doable, right? The weight loss thing is doable, right? Just making, like, I just want to see my formula. I want to see my algorithm. I want to see what are the things that I need to be, do, and have in order to fast track that goal. So that's what we're looking at. It just doesn't necessarily mean that what you want will manifest by the end of the month, although it can. It depends. We are open to that possibility, but I seriously doubt that I'm going to lose like 50 pounds by the end of the month. But progress, right? It's a month. It's like four weeks, right? 4 weeks, 5 weeks. I don't know how many weeks this month has, but you know, constantly, excuse me, being losing 2 to 3 pounds a week would show me that I'm moving in the right direction. Being consistent, whatever that means, and consistent doesn't mean every day, okay? So let's let go of that myth. Everybody has a different consistency. So just seeing myself showing up for myself, doing the things, eating more, moving more, right? Like whatever, putting other things into place that will help me drop the weight faster and more consistently would be progress. Okay. So those are the things I want you to think about as you are just noticing what's coming up for you. And if you'd like to get in on this, I only have 5 spots for the Blue Moon Manifestation Special. Um, Message me and let's get you scheduled. It is a 90-minute session. It's $225. The whole thing will be recorded. And as we're going through, I will have a Google Doc open. I will be writing stuff down. So anything from your astrology or your human design that you need to make note of for this month, I will put that in there. And then we will create a checklist of the things that you need to actually do in order to make the shift. So it may be feng shui. It probably will be some kind of feng shui. Definitely love doing a feng shui placement when we are looking at manifestation, because it will help anchor what you want to manifest into this reality. Okay. It will include some sort of clearing. So it could be a crystal chakra clearing. It could be a cord removal. It could be a cord cutting. They are different. Cord removal is when we are removing the cord because we no longer want this person in our life, period. A cord cutting is when we want to shift the energy in the relationship. So we would cut the cord and then reattach with a positive intention. Okay, so they are different. It could be an Akashic field healing where we are looking at your energetic blueprint. I am looking at your energetic blueprint and doing a healing affirmation for that to facilitate the healing. It could be a past life regression. It depends what it is that you need, okay? And that will come from looking at your astrology and your human design. And if you'd like, I can also pull some cards if we have time. So 90 minutes may seem like a long time, but like, trust me, like, we're already like a third there. So like, yeah. So, and for the first 3 people that sign up, I will also make a custom um, feng shui cure for you. Okay, so that might be one of my special keys. It might be one of these, like something um, that you can put in your home and actually cure or use it as a placement to manifest. Okay, and I'll mail that out to you after our session. So what else do we have? That's it. So, health and well being. So, health and well being is the center of your home, but it's also the things that are going on in the rest of your home. So, a quick way to create some change there is wipe down those cobwebs, wipe down all the windows, wash all your curtains, tuck those cords behind stuff. Sweeping and mopping your floors is another way to help shift the energy and health and well being. The whole house, not just there, right? And then in the center of the room or the home, being mindful of what's there, getting rid of the clutter, getting rid of broken things, either fixing them, donating them, whatever, cleaning, and then you can always hang a crystal. You'll see this a lot in homes that have, if you walk into a house and in the center of the room, especially in the master bedroom or in the center of the house, there's a crystal like this or a bigger one like this, it's been feng shuied. That is a telltale sign. But this is just really pretty. A lot of people have crystals. I have a right there. This is a stained glass star. I have other things that they're called dragon tears. They're long, like, colored glass. I love sun catchers and things like that, right? Stained glass and stuff like that. So you'll see them in not every window, but like quite a few of my windows have stuff like that. So this is the one thing. One of these crystals, or the smaller one, is the only thing that like I will probably do in every home that I feng shui. Um, because it is inconspicuous and it can go with anybody's decor. Like, just a freaking beautiful crystal is just really just a yummy addition to any home, right? But I do not use red string unless it's part of the decor. Like, if I'm doing a fan pull and there's red in the room, then I will do it, because I like, for the fan pull, I like there to be, like, it to be sturdy. If you're using like fishing line, which is called monofilament, or wire, it's very easy that it'll break. So then I will use a ribbon. But if the red just feels like that's all you see in the room, then I'll use something like silver or gold or white, or a color that like actually matches the room or kind of blends in, because you don't want it to be like a red flag, literally. Okay. So if anybody wants me to make one of these for them as a placement for health and well-being, although these crystals can be, like I said, the crystals, like when we say crystals in feng shui, this is what we're talking about. Although you can use like citrine and things like that, this is what we mean in feng shui. Okay. So this is like one of the aspirins of feng shui. So it means like if there's nothing you can do in that area, you put a crystal up. If there's nothing you can do in that area, you put a mirror there, right? And it could be a regular mirror, it could be a convex or concave mirror. They each have a different purpose, or it could be a wind chime. That's another thing that we'll put there to shift the energy. Okay. When we can't do anything, right? So this might be a garage, this might be a basement, this might be an attic, it could be a kid's room. So actually, now that I'm thinking about it, like my youngest son is in our prosperity corner. And actually, at one time, I had this really cool wind chime that I made, and it was just, I'm telling you, like, some of these ideas that I get, they're definitely divinely channeled, and they're divinely coming through me, because the divine like, it just knows that I have the ability to create it, right? But they're not like I sit here and like, oh, if I put this and this together, it's not a formula. It just comes to me. So I had this wind chime, and I don't know what happened to it. I don't know. But basically what I did was I took a small macrame hoop, and I turned it into a dream catcher. So I used gold embroidery floss, and I actually pulled one strand out, because embroidery floss, if you don't know, has 6 strands. So I pulled one strand and I made the web. And then I used red suede lacing to do the like to cover the edge of the hoop. And then I did the gold webbing. And I like my webbing to be asymmetrical. I don't like it when it's completely symmetrical. That's a personal thing. Everybody's different, okay? And then um I don't remember how many strands I did coming down. So I did not have it like this, like you would have a dream catcher. I turned it like this, right? So it turned into a wind chime. And then I did, I don't remember, 5 strands, 6 strands, or whatever. And then I had a bunch coming up so that I could, tie it and hang it up. And then I had these really cool, I think I still have some of them, but they were glass fish. They were red fish, and they had a gold and white swirl, and I put those at the bottom of those dangles, right? The chimey part of it. And I put it in my first house that I bought with my first husband back in 2002. And that was my prosperity placement. And I will tell you that even though I love to make feng shui placements for people and things like that, something like that is just like channel divine inspiration is so much better than the stuff that you buy in the stores. Okay. And not saying that I don't buy stuff in the stores, okay? Because there's certain things like a laughing Buddha. I'm not going to go buy clay or metal and cast my own laughing Buddha. I'm going to go buy it. But there's certain things that you can make yourself that like really have like extra juice in them, okay? And then again, like I said, if you want me to make you something, I would gladly make it. And then also when you order something like this or one of these made for you, I will include the 3 secret reinforcement ritual for free. You'll get that PDF and video for free. It's a $9 value. So if you're interested in any of these things, if you'd like to take advantage of the Blue Moon Manifestation Special, I'm actually going to do a session for myself this weekend because it just sounds so yummy and I want to do it for me. I already know where Scorpio's hitting in my chart. I already know a little bit about the pattern that is being unlocked with this full moon. I said it was money, but I also know that I want to work on weight loss as well. You don't have to, in the Blue Moon Manifestation Special, we're only going to look at one area because that's the one area that this full moon is unlocking for you. But you can always book another session at a later date and we can look at a different area if you want to use this same, actually would be really amazing is if you did another one on the blue moon for around May 31st. So we can see what that full moon is unlocking for you as well. So we could do that as well. Or you could book 2 sessions. There's nothing wrong with that if you want to do 2 sessions. But one topic per session is really, really, then we can do all the work, all the energetic, the coaching, the clearing, all the stuff that needs to happen. And also the action plan that you need to put in place in order for you to manifest what you want. Or at least move light years forward by the end of this month. Okay. And like I said, I'm going to be doing my own stuff because I'm like, I want that. I'll have what she's having. If you know, you know. Okay. So that is it for this week. For Feng Shui. Next week, we are doing relationship. So that is the back right hand corner. It's opposite prosperity. And actually it's this corner right here. But I always get confused. Right here, right behind me. No, not that one. This one. This corner right here. Right here. So, that is our last section for the 9 areas in relationship to wealth. And today's, I know, didn't sound like we were talking about wealth, but health is really important. If you do not have your health, you don't have anything else. So that's how that relates to wealth. But it's also about, like, if you are tired of hustle culture and you want to make money and have a business that really like supports the lifestyle that you want, it supports rest, it supports relaxation, it supports fun and joy and pleasure, that's something that you can set an intention in your health and well-being area. Okay. So I would definitely do that if I were you. Okay, and that's going to be part of my intention when I rehang this crystal. So you can snowball a bunch of intentions into a single item, but you want to make sure that they're related. You don't want to be like, well, this a crystal is not, or a placement is not like Santa Claus where you're like, and this and this and this and this. They have to be related and they have to make sense. Okay. So for me, my intention for health and well-being is about, you know, creating better habits around in my life to promote better mental, emotional, spiritual, and physical health. So that's where that weight loss comes in, right? And then I would create something else for the key. So the key would be separate. It would, yes, I would hang them together, but I would create a separate intention for that. So it's like, okay, something like, you know, I unlock the method for me to have a slimmer and healthier body. So slimmer, right? Slender. I don't want to be skinny. I like my curves, but I definitely want to, like, you know, get rid of some of this excess weight around my middle, right? So you need to be mindful. This is definitely a situation of careful what you wish for, right? Like, I'm not going to say lose weight. I'm going to focus on, you know, having a slender and healthy body, right? Hi, Mischief. Can you say hi? This is Mischief. Isn't she beautiful? Okay, baby. I know. I love that you let me pet you, even though you don't like it. So, okay, that's it. So, check out your health and well-being area. If you like the Blue Moon Manifestation Special, please message me as soon as you can so we can get moving forward on that, so you can take advantage of this Scorpio full moon energy. I only have 5 spots, and like I said, the first 3 people, I will make you a custom Feng Shui placement, and I will mail that to you, okay, as an added bonus. And you will get the 3 secret, regardless, all 5 people will get the 3 secret reinforcements, because if we're doing Feng Shui, you know, Feng Shui is, I don't want to say nothing without the 3 secret reinforcements, but like, yeah. Sometimes it takes a long time for things to manifest when you don't use the 3 secret reinforcements. And like I've said before, that's only $9 for the PDF and video. If you like that, message me and I will send that over to you. And that's it. That's it. All right. I hope you guys have a great weekend. If it is clear and not cloudy in your area, I do highly recommend that when that full moon rises, that you let your howl out. I love to do that. A couple months ago, one of my neighbors howled back. It's just something I like to do. I know not everybody does that, but I like to howl at the moon. Okay, so I'll I'll be doing that. So even if you don't hear me, I'll be doing that. So I do invite you to do that. I do invite you to, as serious as Scorpio is, and as much it is about depth and hidden secrets and deep desires, there is this playfulness to the Scorpio, right? There is this like underlying little kid that wants to be expressed. And I don't think that's just Scorpio. I think that's everybody. And like that's part of the Uranus and Gemini energy. So definitely have fun with this full moon. Make some moon water, make some howl at the moon, do your, you know, blow your cinnamon. I didn't do that, but I don't do that because I have cats and I don't want it getting on my cats. So I don't do that, but there are definitely you can hang a cinnamon stick over your front door or from the inside door handle of your front door on the first of the month, and then burn it or bury it at the end of the month before you put your new one too. And unfortunately, the grocery store I went to did not have any cinnamon sticks. So I need to see if I have some, or I'm going to need to order some. So, and also, like, if you don't do it on the first, it's not like you can't do it on the second or third, okay? Like, yes, there is a potency when you do something on the day that a certain astrological placement or the full moon is happening or something like that. And certain practices are really geared towards that. Even in Feng Shui, there are certain days that are really auspicious, like during the 15 days of the Spring Festival, which is part of the Chinese New Year. There are certain days that if you don't do it that day, you don't do it. Um, and that is true, but something like hanging a piece of cinnamon from your front door to bring in prosperity. And actually, what I would do is I would do a little, like, little mojo bag and add cinnamon. I would add like dried oranges. I would add cloves. Cinnamon is for fast money. Cloves is for money that stays. So, that dynamic. You can add things like quince foil. You can add things like patchouli. You can add, there's a whole bunch of things. Basil. Italian seasoning is a great herb. It's a great blend for cooking and for magic. It's got rosemary in it. It's got thyme in it. I think marjoram is in there, and there's something else in there that I think it's oregano and basil are the other two. And correct me if I'm wrong. You can throw that in there, and then hang that little bag from your front door. And it doesn't matter the color, although I would go with green or gold if I were you. Also, you could go with white and match your door so it doesn't like stand out. And then, you know, throw it out or like bury it or burn it at the end of the month. So on the 31st, right? So that's something. Some of these practices do need to be renewed, like your money bowl. Oh, I didn't do my money bowl. I'm going to do that today. I'm going to dump the rice and all the herbs and redo my money bowl today. So that's another thing you could do today. That would be really auspicious. We do that on the first of the month. Some people do it on the new moon. Some people do it on the first of the month. I usually do it like the day before, but I totally forgot. And so I will be doing that today. You can also do it tomorrow. Again, it's better to do it than to not do it. Okay? All right. I hope this has been helpful. If you'd like to book a Blue Moon manifestation special, or if you'd like any of the other services or items that I've mentioned in today's video, message me. Let me know what you heard, what you need. And also, I would just love to hear in the comments what resonated with you. Are there certain things that you do for the full moon? Is there something going on in your health and well-being area that you could use some guidance for? Let me know, okay? And if it's a quick and easy tip, I'll definitely share it with you. If it requires a consultation, because I need more information, then I'll let you know that as well, and we can always talk about that. Okay, I hope this has been helpful. I hope you'll get your howl on tonight with the full moon, and I will catch you next time. Take care. Bye.